And in particular, serve as a refuah shlema, all that we're going to learn here, the halachot and the loving kindness to the refuah shlema of Chaya bat Beya and Chagit Renana bat Sarah, amongst all of Am Yisrael who are sick and suffering. B'karov b'rachamim amen. Chana bat Shoshana. I'm down with them every day.
Okay,
Anything?
no, sure.
Fine.
Yeah,
Eitan ben Sarah. I know I have them all. All right, we'll start off with two halachas of lashon hara. Do not hate your brother in your heart. If a person pretends to be another person's friend and then speaks against him behind his back, he transgresses the prohibition against secretly harboring hatred. This is especially true if he warns his audience not to tell the subject. Number 2, do not take vengeance and do not bear a grudge. The speaker. Did I say this one already? It sounds familiar to me. If a person speaks lashon hara out of resentment toward the subject for having failed to do him a favor, he transgresses this prohibition. The listener. If the listener encourages or enjoys hearing lashon hara due to resentment he feels towards the subject for failing to do him a favor, he transgresses the prohibition. Hashem should save us from the sin of lashon hara. Amen. Okay. Chesed. Do right and one is rewarded. Do wrong and one is punished. The world of perfect justice is a simple world with no surprises. Neither is there any room for human error. On first glance, it would seem that that such a world would function quite well, a model of consistency that would guarantee mankind's best behavior. There are 2 factors, however, that throw this model off kilter. Never heard that before. Off kilter? Yes? Is that in English?
Off kilter?
Off kilter. Is that English?
Unbalanced. It's not balanced.
Okay. Never heard that before. No, really.
Sounds like Yiddish. Funny.
Yeah, kilter. Yeah, right. Kilter. The kilter. First of
Irish. It sounds Irish.
Yeah. No, it definitely doesn't sound English. Okay, someone's having a really nice day when they decided to put that in the words. Okay. First of all, human beings are subject to too many temptations and misjudgments to always do right, even when they have the best intentions. Thus, in a world of strict judgment, nobody could stand before Hashem free of guilt. This leads to the second problem. Hashem's desire is to reward and sustain man, even when strict judgment could dictate that he deserves no such reward. Therefore, Hashem infuses this world with chesed. Only through the attribute of chesed can Hashem fulfill his desire to bestow a livelihood, food, clothing, sunlight, water, and all manner of good upon fallible, flawed human beings. Without chesed to temper Hashem's judgment, no one can survive. The world cannot survive. The Chavetz Chaim, citing the Midrash Shocher Tov on Tehillim, describes a world without chesed as a 4-legged chair that wobbles and threatens to overturn. To make the chair usable, a person places some small object, a pebble or a piece of wood, under the shaky leg. The chair is thereby firmly set in its place, able to support a man's weight. This is the mechanism referred to in the verse. The throne will then be established with kindness. The Midrash on this verse says that Hashem's throne of glory can be compared to this shaky chair. It was shaking. It wasn't complete until Hashem supported it from underneath. What did Hashem support it with? He supported it with chesed. Bezrat Hashem, have the zchut to do chesed. Okay. Let's think about what happened on that fateful day at Har Sinai, and let's see if we could prepare ourselves, Bezrat Hashem, receiving the Torah, Shavuot. What can we do to better prepare ourselves? What are we going to expect that to happen to us on Shavuot? How can we use the day to really absorb and walk away with as much Kedusha as possible? Hopefully we'll come out today with some ideas and some practical tips and feel well equipped. One thing that happened on Har Sinai, which is the most beautiful thing that we have to remember all year long, is that there were 2 oaths exchanged. Shavuot from the word Shavua. 2 oaths were exchanged that day. One of the most important oaths for us to remember is that Hashem promised never, ever, ever to put an expiration date to the Torah. There's no, it says here on page 655 that if I don't do X, Y, and Z, Hashem's going to look for a new nation. No such thing. It never says anything to that. There's no clauses of it not being effective if such and such happened. And so one of the oaths that Hashem gave to us, which stands till today, till the end of days, till the days of Mashiach, Bezrat Hashem B'Karov, is that Hashem will never, ever leave us, never choose another nation. And the second oath was that of us to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, where we promised Hashem that we would never choose another God either. That we would never put forth anything that would stop us from being able to have that warm, intimate relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So the first thing to just awaken our emotions, which is really what Emuna is about, is to awaken our emotions, to have that connection, how much we love you, Hashem, is to remember that that oath is a real oath. There was a real chuppah going on there. There was a real exchange of vows going on there. And that holds till today. We're going to talk soon why we have to go through the motions of celebrating it. But the bottom line is that's something that we need to hold dear in our hearts. That was an eternal covenant with, again, no expiration date, no clauses. It's valid till today. Let's understand that the Torah is called Etz HaChaim. Etz HaChaim means, very plain and simply, if I hold on to this tree of life, I have life. My life force is pumped to me through the Torah. We're going to see soon again, we're going to start opening up this idea, but we're starting off first with the basics. That is my lifeline. Torah is my lifeline. If I don't see Torah that way, I need to sit down with myself and see what am I doing wrong. There's nothing wrong with the Torah. The Torah puts out life. If I'm not taking it in as life, there's something wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with the police force. The police force has set rules. They know exactly what the policemen have to do. If there's a policeman out there selling drugs on the street to a young child, there's nothing wrong with the police force. There's something wrong with the policeman. And so on and so forth. Right? And so the idea that we need to understand is, I need to understand, if I don't have that, if I'm not injected with enthusiasm to keep mitzvahs, there's a problem with me. There's nothing wrong with Hashem's Torah, God forbid. If there's someone walking down the street with a strymel and payas and a beard down to his kazoo, it doesn't matter. If he's not doing something right, there's nothing wrong with the Torah. There's nothing wrong with the Torah. There's something wrong with him. I need to know that. And so for me to start talking bad about this one or that one, or why isn't he doing or she doing, that's not Torah. I go back to my source. I gain my life force from the Torah, and that's what keeps me alive. That's what keeps me going. And if it doesn't, if I'm not getting this injection, not only do I have to look at the way that I perceive Torah, but I have to say to myself, okay, what's going on? What am I doing wrong? And one of the main things that we're going to find of the reasons why we cannot feel this enthusiasm and cannot gain this injection of life from Torah every day is because I am not focused on it. I'm not appreciating the value of what it can do. Let me give a basic difference between two types of pursuit that we find ourselves constantly going after in our lives. We find ourselves pursuing either one or the other. Either we're pursuing materialism and we're pursuing this world and we're pursuing physicality and pleasure in this world, or we're pursuing spirituality and meaning and deeper inner core connection. What's the difference between the two? Hashem created us to be a receiver. Let's understand, and we're going to see this soon in a moment. There's three parts to the Torah. There's the mashpia, there's the one that gives, that's Hashem. There's a mushpa, the one that receives, that's us, our neshama. And then there's the intermediary. There's the way that the shefa comes down, and that's through the divine channels called mitzvahs. That's basic metaphysics, like the way that things work. That's the way it works in this world. So Hashem created us naturally to want to receive. And that is why every single one of us has this hunger to search and to seek and to find, and depending on what it is that we're filling our vessel up with, sometimes we fill and we feel empty. Sometimes we fill and we feel happy. Let's see the difference. What is the difference? How can I define if I'm on the right track? If I'm coming from a material perspective, looking to be fulfilled, then I'm starting already from a point of dissatisfaction. Meaning, I'm searching for something. Why? Because I'm not happy. Because I'm not fulfilled. If, though, I'm searching for something more, but I'm satisfied, but it's so yummy. Oh, give me another piece of that chocolate cake. That's so yummy. I mean, again, it's not spiritual, but, it's what I can relate to at least. If I taste something and it's so yummy for me and I just want more, feed me more and more and more, that's spirituality. That means it's coming from a place that's deep and real. But if I'm looking for something and I keep looking and I'm satisfied, but then I'm again hungry, and I'm satisfied and I'm hungry, but I keep searching. If that's my motivating propeller, that's coming from an unhealthy place. That's coming from materialism, and that's where I have to now start weighing to see what's going on with me. So spirituality is a constant need for more, but it comes from a place of everlasting sweetness, wonderful, great, give me more. That's Torah. Torah is there to constantly feed that desire, that yearning to want to have more goodness. Not that I'm lost. Sure, but for some people that is their only way to get to Torah. That's fine. But that shouldn't be the constant propeller. The constant propeller should mean this is great, I want more. I want to achieve more, I want to elevate more, I want to seek more and reach higher up on that ladder. How do I get to that point? I don't feel it. What can I do? I've tried hard. I've learned books. I've learned Musa. I've learned, tzaddikim stories. What haven't I tried to get myself going? Something's stuck. It's just not moving for me. What do I do? Chazal teach us Malchut. Malchut. The 10 spheres are all of the channels by which Hashem brings down all of his beautiful light. The last stop on those spheres is called Malchut, right underneath Yesod, foundation. Malchut is sitting in our mouth. This is where the nobility, this is where the independence, this is the royalty, this is where the self-esteem, everything lies in our mouth. Based on what I say, based on what comes out of my mouth, that is what I receive and give forth. That is the last tahana, the last station from which the shefa, the light, the delight. What is shefa? What does it mean, godly light? It means pleasure. It means delight. It means brachas. It means goodness. It means everything good in life. Any pleasure that you can true pleasure that you can think of, has to come through the 10 spheres. Make it stop by Malchut, and that is how it comes down to us. If I don't use my mouth, if I don't use my ability to speak words of Emuna, words of tefillah, words of yearning, words of Hashem, I need you in my life, I need to feel it, it will not come down. It will be stopped at the level of Malchut, and it'll just stay there. You won't get the shefa, God forbid. We won't have the shefa it won't surround us. That is the importance of tefillah. If I don't feel that the Torah is injecting me with life, I need to sit and yearn and daven. Hashem, help me feel it. Why don't I feel it? What's missing? Where's the blood not flowing through? Why is it not coming through? Why am I not excited that I'm doing mitzvahs? Why am I not excited to get up in the morning and to serve you? What's going on? What am I missing? Hashem, pump me up. Pump me up. Something's clogged. Something in my malchut. Something's clogged. Help me open up the pipelines. And Hashem will help. But that is the key that opens up the doors, is my malchut, it's my tefillah, it's the words that I say. We said last week, we have to understand, Hashem's job, per se, in the world, is to bring down shefa. That's why Hashem brought this world. Alam chesed yibaneh. The purpose of Hashem's, again, on a very simplistic way, I don't know exactly how to explain it in deep ways, but the purpose of this world is for Hashem to bestow kindness. If I don't perceive it as kindness and pleasure is oneg. If I don't perceive Hashem's loving light as oneg, it's because I have a distortion in the reception process, and then it becomes nega. It becomes a plague. It becomes Yisurim. It becomes horrible. But that's the problem is with me. From Hashem's perspective, it's all good. It's all light. But my vessel is not receiving it properly. Either I have some holes that need some pitching up, or I have it turned upside down, or it's, I've received it, but I don't know what to do with it. Something is wrong in the way that I'm receiving it and the way that I'm taking it in. But only good comes down from Shemayim. Hashem has no hidden agenda. Let's make it clear. There's no hidden agenda to go out and get his creatures and make their lives miserable and see them running around in misery. That's not Hashem's agenda. And unless we get that part right, there's no way that we can make it through. We cannot make it through this life. We cannot make it through our tikkun. We need to understand that even if it's just a blind, even if that's the lowest level I need to reach to, and I just have to blindly believe that Hashem is all good, then so be it. Start there. But have it ingrained in us, the importance, I can't stress it enough, that Hashem is all good. Over and over and over again. Hashem is all good. Only good comes from Shemayim. That's all of Hashem's attentions. And if I am not receiving it that way, I need to say to myself, what am I missing? And then again, go back. All of life is all about that. Taking in, not knowing what to do with it, bringing it back up, then it comes back down to me. But this time it comes back down to me with clarity. Bringing it back up, having Hashem do his thing, he brings it back down, and then that's it. Up and down, up and down, up and down. That's the tafkid. Taking something to eat, bringing it up, Hashem now brings it back down to me, and it's ingested in me with kedusha. That's the tafkid. And without my malchut, without my tefillah, it doesn't happen. So people will say, but I'm davening and I don't feel it. How do you know? How do you know? Do we understand the spiritual makeup of the world? Do we know what happens? Do we know what we got back? We don't know. But if Hashem designed the world and he says, I need you to talk to me and I need you to reach out to me and beseech me, then that's what we have to do. We have to know that there is something powerful in that. And let me understand time and time again, if, and I'm saying that now from a different angle, it sounds like I'm repeating myself, but listen to the variation of what I'm about to say. If I'm missing something in my life, I'm really not missing anything. I'm really not lacking anything. You know what I'm really lacking? I'll tell you what I'm lacking. I'm lacking that pinpoint of godliness in that thing. If I'm reading a book, but I'm not connecting to the godliness in the book, then it's not going to fulfill me. It's not going to fill my vessel up with godly light. And I will walk around feeling lack. I will walk around feeling a void. I will feel empty. But I don't understand. I learn all day. I say Tehillim all day. Why do I feel so empty? Why do I feel so disconnected? Because we're not attaching ourselves to the godly aspect of what I'm doing. I'm reading this. I should have a kavanah before I read, before I pick up Tehillim, before I daven, before I say a bracha. I want to connect to you, Hashem, through this. Just for a split second, kind of create that connection. I want to connect to you, Hashem, through this. I want to see you through this. I want to benefit from the holiness of my water. It's not the oxygen that's giving me life. It's the godliness that's inside the oxygen that's giving me life. You understand? It's not the food, right? It's not the food that's giving me life. It's the godliness in the food. And so what I'm really missing is not quantity, as we, the new psychotherapy, lifeline of the world is quality time. Not necessarily quantity, it's quality. That's exactly how it is in spirituality as well. It's quality. Am I really going into submerging myself into the godliness, bless you, of that which I am interacting with? Am I thinking godly thoughts? Am I reading for the sake of gaining godliness? Or am I just passing through time? Or I have my prakim of Tehillim, I have to say it, let me just get it through. That's surface. Judaism is core. It's panemius. It's going inside. It's seeing beyond the letters. It's going inside. What is the message that the Torah is telling me? The Torah is not a bunch of stories. It's not just about Avram doing this, Yitzchak doing that, Yaakov. There's an Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, David, Shlomo, Yosef. In every single one of us, there's a Paro, there's a Bilam, there's a Pinchas, there's an everything in any. When I study Torah, I need to see myself in what I'm reading. I have to understand that there's a message inside every pasuk of Torah, and that's why we're commanded in the Shukti to read the Torah year after year. Because once I'm going to see myself as Paro, and one year I'm going to see myself as Yitzchak, once I'm going to see myself as Yosef. Where am I in that point of my life? What is Hashem telling me? That's what invigorates me. That's what enlivens me. I look for myself in the Torah. It's not just churning knowledge. That's not what Torah is about. This is why, by the way, I have a little bit of a problem with the school system. I understand we want to churn the Gemara says, but where am I in the Gemara? Where am I in the Tosfos? Where am I in the Rashi? Where am I? Where's the message to me? If I don't see myself, it's just a bunch of words. I have to gain lifeline from it. And if I don't, I need to look for a channel of being able to daven for it. And daven for it and look, read between the lines. We always know there's always what to read between the lines. Read between the lines. One of the mechanisms, it's called a spiritual development process that Rabbi Nachman teaches us, Zatzal, is that there's a system called a sigh. Right? Now look what happens when I sigh. I first breathe, right. I first breathe in, and then I let out. That is the process of spiritual developmental elevation. I have to first take in that which I have, and then let go. In other words, the process that Rabbi Nachman is trying to express to us is to, if I don't see injection of life force inside my life when I study Torah, if I'm not constantly looking, I have a moment, I'm online, let me, do I have, like for instance today, we were stuffing envelopes, and so there's on my phone, there's a telephone number that I can call in, like a chazaka in Hebrew, and I can listen to shiurim, and I had it plugged in one ear, and in one ear I'm listening to see if anyone has anything that they need to tell me, and I'm just constantly plugged into listening Torah. I need to have that on my phone. I'm standing online, no moment wasted. No moment wasted. I can't always read Tehillim, whatever, but let me put that earpiece. I hop two words of Torah, I'm alive. It does something to me. And so the idea is to use every single moment to try to get that injection. And so by me sighing, taking in that which I have, it's to live a life of appreciation, to know that all that I have, again, I'm not lacking anything. I'm just not being fed by that which I have. Because if I was fed with that which I had, I would not have a lacking. I wouldn't see a lacking. I would be totally full with the bread and cheese and crackers that I have right now in my refrigerator. I wouldn't be looking for something more. The problem is I'm not extracting all the godliness from that which I have today. And so I'm always looking for something more. Well, maybe if I, no, take what you have. Sit down and take in, right? Take in that which I have, and then I can let it go. So it's a spiritual developmental process that I need to go with, and the only way that I can really live that way is if I take the time to sit down and breathe. Breathe in that 5 minutes. I'm not talking, I know the hour a day that Rabbi Nachman, it's not easy. I can't do it. It's very hard. But few moments a day, sit down, smell the coffee. Smell the aroma of everything. Take in that which you have. Take in your eyesight. And how do I know that you appreciate your eyesight and you appreciate your ability to walk? Because if, God forbid, any one of us got up tomorrow and didn't have it, God forbid, we would say, if I just appreciated it, if I just knew how wonderful it was to walk, to see, to breathe, to smell, to reach out, to be able to listen to the shiur right now, that I have the brain cells to be able to listen and process what's being told to me right now. But we take it for granted. We don't extract, and that's the life force. The life force is saying, I do appreciate that which I have right now. I'm living in the moment right now. Right now, live in my moment. You know, I've tried to adapt this new thing now on Shabbos. I have everyone sitting around the table, and I just look. Inside, it's an internal process I go through. Sometimes I actually voice it out. I would tell my children, say, let's celebrate right now. Okay, anybody's birthday, no balloons hang. What do we celebrate? Just this moment that all of us are sitting here. Everyone's healthy, no uncertain tests lingering in the air, no, God forbid, doorbells that, or knocks that we're expecting someone, God forbid, to come through and tell us something. Nothing. We're just sitting here enjoying this moment together. Let's celebrate this moment of just calm, regularity, mundaneness. Nothing special. No upcoming bar mitzvahs or weddings coming up. Nothing. Celebrate the now. Because everything's okay right now. Isn't it great to just be in the now? In the regular moment, in my job, in my parenting, in my, being a wife, just celebrating the now. That is injecting me with life force. That is giving me satisfaction and allowing me to see life as not lacking anything. That's what we're missing. That is exactly what we're missing. How do I do that? Again, connecting to the godliness. The Or Chaim HaKadosh teaches, putting together the spirit and the body is more opposite than trying to connect fire and water. That's how different the spirit is from the body. How does Hashem get it to merge? How can I possibly connect to a spiritual entity called Hashem, eternal entity, when I myself am made up of such lowly, coarse physicality? How can I possibly allow that spirituality to enter inside of me? Only one way. Start taking out the sandpaper and start chiseling away the physicality. Just try to take away the connection to the physicality. See everything in a godly light. Look beyond that which I have. See the internal blessings. Connecting to Hashem. The more I do that, the more spiritual a vessel I become, the more spirituality I can now take in. Now, it's something I was saying to Leah actually before. What do I actually do when I learn Torah? What do I actually do in general when I sit and I learn something? What I'm actually doing is I'm taking in the knowledge and it's becoming part of me, right? That's one of the reasons why Chazal, the Torah sages teach us, of this generation in particular, the generation of knowledge, how careful we need to be, and don't scream at me and don't throw eggs, but how careful we have to be at the schools that we send our children. Where we go and learn. What sources am I gaining my knowledge from? Because that which I take in, if it's not coming from a holy place, I'm taking in that guk together with the unguk, or together with the holiness. If it's in a klipa, I'm gaining the klipa as much as I'm gaining the holiness. So we have to be very careful where we send our children to school in their elementary years and their kindergarten years and so on and so forth. So I'm basically, what am I doing when I learn? I'm exchanging a space in my mind with the knowledge that's now filling it. With Torah, that's what I'm doing. I'm taking a part of Hashem and I'm putting it inside of me, and I'm exchanging the nourishkeit, the nonsense, the falsehood of my mind. I'm exchanging it and I'm filling it now with holiness with Hashem, which means that I'm taking every part of my mind and I'm filling it with Emuna. The more I learn Torah, the more I'm filling it with the ability to absorb God's wisdom, which is Emuna. In other words, I will suddenly see myself going through this process of taking in Hashem's wisdom and believing that which once seemed to me as being ridiculous. Like, how can I actually believe that Hashem really does this for me? It doesn't make sense. But now it'll become so clear to me because I've taken the time to take away that which I previously believed. There's only so much room I have in my mind. If I'm replacing that which I believe with true essential knowledge called Torah, I'm now filling myself up with the tools to be able to really believe that which I learned, because I'm filling it up. That's all I have in my mind now is Torah. And so that teaches us the importance of learning as much as possible for the sake of connecting to Hashem. Again, not to just accumulate knowledge, but to connect with the inside. What happened on Har Sinai? What actually happened in Har Sinai? What is it that every single one of us experienced this? We were all there in our root souls. Every single one of us were there. What did the Jewish people experience there? What made them to be able to take in the mitzvahs? Why do I have to commemorate this over and over and over again? What am I tapping into that day? What am I tapping into? What were they able to see? It's constantly being said to us that they were able to see the sounds. They were able to see Hashem's voice. How could you do that? It's totally two mechanisms, seeing, hearing. They don't go together. How? Chazal teaches, the Zohar Kadosh actually teaches us, what did they actually see? You know what they actually saw? They actually saw the pipeline from the divine, from Shemayim. Actually, imagine a pipeline of light from Shemayim going straight, landing straight on every single Jewish head. Imagine that with our eyes, we were able to see the direct line. Imagine almost like the belly button being connected to the mother's uterus. Seeing how every single Jew were being fed directly with a life force being pumped to them from Shemayim to them, giving them life. In other words, I could see now this table having life to it through Hashem, directly from Hashem. I was able to see that. So I didn't see the table. I saw Hashem's essence in the table and giving it life, giving it reality, giving it its true form. That's what they were able to see. There was no denying it. It was to that. That's why they say when you live a life of Emuna, you essentially give up your bchira. You essentially give up your free will. Why? There's no more choosing anymore. If I see Hashem in everything in my life, what choice is there? If we can get ourselves to live a life of true Emuna, there is no bchira. That's why they say a Baal Tshuva, what happens when he actually decides to be a Baal Tshuva? I'm talking, all of us are Baal Tshuvas, but the person who goes from totally, not being observant to the one who is, they essentially are giving up some of their bchira. Obviously, we know that. They're essentially giving up the fact that they understand that this is the real life. So there's nothing more. And as you become, so to speak, more frum, more observant, more Torah observant, more connected to Hashem, more with Emuna, we essentially lose a bchira. There is no choice. The Yetzer Hara can't take a hold on us on all of those aspects that we once would believe. What is that? I think we said this before. What is that spirit of foolishness that Chazal teaches happens to a person when they sin? Anybody know? Right? They say, "En adam ba'al yedei avera ela imoach shtut lo mistovev svivo, lo nechnas bo." Right? Not until a spirit of foolishness, of folly, comes and surrounds him. What is that spiritual foolishness that comes and surrounds me that causes me to sin? Anybody want to take a guess? The Yetzer Hara is telling. What is he telling me? What is okay? We know the Yetzer Hara. That's not foolish to think that Yetzer Hara, right? But that's the starting point. What more?
Insanity, temporary insanity.
What is my insanity? Good, very good. What is that insanity? It's exactly what it is. It's insanity.
Like losing the awareness, losing you're not with Hashem anymore.
There you go. That's exactly what. It's that moment of foolishness thinking, Hashem is not with me. Can you imagine? That's what Chazal teach us. If at any moment we think Hashem is not with us, guess what? We're defined as being foolish. That's the real definition. You want to call someone foolish? That's what you're calling them. You're calling them foolish because of the fact that they lost touch with their reality. They're insane, so to speak. I'm insane when I sin, because I didn't realize, I forgot for a moment, oh, Hashem is with me. He's looking at me. He's judging me. He's waiting for me behind the veil, saying to me, don't go there, please. Just don't go there. I put that there to test you, but I really, don't go there. That's really what Hashem is doing. And Hashem is waiting for us to choose the right thing. And for a moment, we forgot. We forgot why we were here. And that's that foolishness. That's what they were. That was taken away from the Jewish nation when we stood at Har Sinai. That's the energy that we can tap into on Shavuot. That is why we commemorate Shavuot. On Shavuot, we are given such siyata dishmaya, such immense divine revelation and awareness to be able to tap into that one-on-one, face-to-face, intimate, tangible, keen, acute awareness that Hashem, you are right here with me. This room is filled up with angels right now, even though I don't see them. And every letter that's being said is creating another angel. And these angels come and surround us every moment. Come and save us. Come and direct us. Come and guide us every moment of our lives. That awareness can be tapped into on Shavuot. That is what we need to daven for, to bring down that shefa on Shavuot. On Shavuot, it's a day of tefillah. It's a day of you think for nothing? This is just by coincidence. It's the day of saying Tehillim. What is Tehillim? Tehillim is packed, jam-packed with human emotions. Once I feel abandoned, once I'm with trust. Once I'm disappointed, once I'm happy. Once I'm filled with Emuna, once I feel like there's no God. Once I feel Hashem is great God, once I feel Hashem has punished me. That's human emotions. That's the story of our lives. Tehillim is the story of our lives. Find yourself in a parak of Tehillim. Read it with emotion, and you will tap into that pipeline of Hashem soothing that emotion. That's what it's about. Is it just by coincidence that it's the yahrzeit of the Baal Shem Tov HaKadosh? What did the Baal Shem Tov HaKadosh proclaimed with full force? I came down into this world to teach every single Jew that Hashem loves them. That no matter how far they've strayed from the path, Torah, Hashem, and Jewishness is one. Hashem loves you. No matter what, you can always attach yourself to Hashem. That's the day of Shavuot. The day of Shavuot is the day to receive vitality, immense connection, and intense life force through talking to Hashem. Begging Hashem, help me receive the Torah once again. Help me come to love you. Help me come to see that which I once experienced. I know I was there. Help me experience. I want to live in that reality, Hashem. I want to see only you, because then I have no lacking. Then I know that I've achieved the full life force of everything that I have. The life force that dwindles in my husband, that pumps out to me like, bump, stopped for a few minutes, bump, stop for me. I want to feel that boom, 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 boom. He's constantly, no matter how unfulfilled I feel in my marriage, I can feel fulfillment in my marriage. If I see you, Hashem, I feel the tikkun that I have with this particular person in my life. I could feel the life force being pumped into me if I look at my child who's difficult to me and I see that there's a tikkun here awaiting me with that particular child in my life. That's the life force. Then I lack nothing, because I'm zooming into why it's happening to me. That's you, Hashem. You put that person here in my life to teach me something. That's my life force. I'm not happy with it, but if I gain something from it, if I could fulfill my tikkun, if I can be elevated through it and elevate those around me through it, that's my life force. That's my vitality. That's the engine running my life. That's what I need to start to go and see if I can find on Shavuot. One last point I want to bring into you, brought down by Rav Tzadok of Lublin in his Sefer Pri Tzadik. He writes, according to the verse being told in this week's parsha, Bamidbar, he says there are actually 4 stages, let me get it exact, 4 different stages of spiritual growth in our Avodas Hashem. And it's outlined based on 4 different parts of the verse, which depicts and describes the idea of Yisrael standing camped in front of Har Sinai and awaiting to receive the Torah. It says, at one point, they came. At another point in the verse, it says, they had come. At another point in the verse, it says, they camped in the desert. And at another point, it says, Yisrael camped there. Now let's just dissect this a little bit. Rav Tzadok of Lublin says, the part of it's saying they came depicts the first stage in spiritual growth, means inspiration. I'm going to go through every single one of them. The second part, they had come, depicts the stage in spiritual growth called realization. The third, they camped in the desert, defines and correlates to internalization. And the fourth, Yisrael camped there, is unification. Let's go through the stages. Inspiration. How do I develop? What is the practical way for me to really, I want to grow? Yes, Orit, I decided You zapped me up. You hit me with the Emuna injection. Thank you. It didn't hurt. And I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. I'm zoomed and pumped. What do I do? That's inspiration. That's inspiration. That spark of excitement, of enthusiasm. I'm ready to go. That's needed. That's needed with anything in life. By the way, these are also 4 different stages for any sort of growth that we want to go through in life. Any sort of change. We've actually spoken about this on various different levels, just with different names. But essentially, these are the 4 steps to any change that I want to have in my life. First, I have to be inspired. I have to say, I'm ready to go for it. I'm excited about it. Yeah, I could see it happening. But we have to know that that inspiration only lasts so long. Eventually, unfortunately, it fades away. Mm-hmm. All right, what did we say? We walk out of the door. Someone unfortunately left the box out on the floor. I trip over it, and I say to Leora, you have very irresponsible neighbors in your building. You know, why doesn't anybody clean up your building? I don't. Wait a minute. I thought it's a good question. I didn't mean to say that. This wasn't Lashon Hara. This was just a mashal. The idea is, if I see the box, if I see the neighbor, I created, right, the reality of Yeshod Milvado. I've distanced myself from Hashem. That's not what it's supposed to be. The idea is to remember this all from Hashem. So that inspiration very quickly dies out. The minute I walk out the door, spirituality unfortunately takes a second. It's the back seat, and all I could see is the houses and the money and the materialism and everything. I can very easily forget about that which I was inspired. Then I have to go to the second stage. And so that's where it comes. They came. They came is in the past. They had that inspiration, but they came. It was once before they had been there. That's where Rav Tzadok relates the two. Realization.
Wait, they came as realization.
They came as the inspiration. Means they had it once. That's that initial inspiration that is going to pass. It's in the past tense. I need it. I need to be inspired. I need to arrive at that place, but I have to know that eventually that's going to fade away. Number 2, acknowledgement comes with that second stage of realization. I have to acknowledge the fact that in order to stay true and committed to that what I was inspired by, I need to commit myself to making an effort to keep it there, to keep the fire going. Hashem, let's understand something about the way Hashem deals with everyone in life. Hashem always gives away matnot chinam. Always gives away free gifts. Always gives us a little taste. You're always going to have that one tefillah that's going to come to you, and you're going to be like, wow, I just met heaven. I just know what it's like to be up there in the spiritual realms and to come back down. We always, every single one of us had that moment, that spiritual high without the drug, right? That ability to feel so close to Hashem, even if we didn't even work for it. I didn't do anything special today, but I was gifted with that amazing tefillah, that amazing limud. Wow, what pearls of wisdom, that insight, that spark in the neshama. Hashem always gives that for free. Every so often, every single one of us gets that free gift. Why? To ignite it, to give us the taste, to say, you see what it's like? Yeah, now go work for it. You tasted it, now go after it. You put something in front of somebody and you say, you want it? Almost like, I hate to say it, but like fetch, go after it. Go after it. I'm giving you a taste, now it's up to you to go and pursue it. That's realization. That's acknowledging the fact that there are free gifts in life, but they don't last long. Everything is short-lived. I need to run after it. Okay? I have to revive that spark. And that comes, they had come. That's where it comes from, they had come. In other words, now they're slowly starting to get the idea. They had come. Third. That's the second one. Then there's the third part of spiritual growth, or again, any change. I can apply this to any change that I want to see myself go through. It's internalization. It means that now the passion has come back to me. I see that the hard work is really paying off for me. But now my job is to take that from the surface and ingrain it. Make it go really deep, deep inside. See the value. Relish in that moment. Say to yourself, wow, how could have I ever lived without it? Excite yourself anew. Create that passion, keep it going, and make sure it's digging way deep inside to the point where you know that you don't want to live without this. You don't want to live without this, this feeling. And that comes from being able to take the idea and settle it inside of you from a place of rest. And that's where they camped in the desert. Now they're settled. That's the point of internalization. I'm settled now. I'm camped. I realize this is where I need to be in my life. And the fourth is, of course, unification. Now I'm taking it one more step even deeper. It's that real solid commitment. I've been through the work. I realize I got the gift. I've worked to achieve it. I keep working and pumping it too. I realize how important it is to me in my life. And now I'm committed to keep it going, to keep the fire going. I'm committed to keep at this. That is in essence, and that is depicted by the verse of, where did I get to? The verse of Yisrael camped there. That's unification. Yisrael meaning the oneness. Now I see myself as being inseparable from that which I just internalized. It's become part of me. There is no fight anymore. The fight has been won. That's it. It's already won. It's now part of me. Yisrael camped there. That's it. One person, one heart, one commitment, one agenda. That is the process of what I need to go through, Be'ezrat Hashem. One last thing I want to say. The month of Sivan is a very beautiful month. You have the Samach and you have Yavan. Samach is the circle of life. It's this constant in circulation of knowing that life is an ongoing process. I have to constantly work. I have to constantly see myself as moving. It's not a flat line. It's constantly moving. Up, down. My life is up, down, up, down, up, down. And if I don't stay in that circle, I end up going into Yavan. Yavan is the Yud. I feel very high on top. I feel really good about my life. But then I slowly get dragged down. That Vav and that Nun is just dragging me down. And that is the process of Sivan. Sivan means I have to keep myself in that circle. I have to not let go of that circle. I have to know that life is constantly going to throw me something. I'll be up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. It's a constant avoda. And I see many women time and time again, they keep saying to me, but I'm just, when does the rest come? When? It doesn't. The reward comes with the avoda. The reward is in the journey. The reward is in the elevation. Don't look at it as, I have to constantly work. It never ends. It never ends. You reap plenty of fruits along the way. But you have to enjoy the process. Again, if I see the Torah and mitzvahs, if I don't love Hashem, if I don't have a connection to Hashem, then the mitzvahs are just pulling me down. They're burdensome. They're a nudge. They're annoyance. And that's why Hashem is so upset with us when we don't do besimcha. Because if I'm not doing besimcha, it means I don't appreciate the value. If I don't really love my husband, giving him even just a little cup of coffee is a big deal for me, even if I'm already in the kitchen. Even if I already have just poured myself that own coffee. That's a big deal for me. I don't want to do it. I don't have that openness towards it. So my job for the next few days is to develop a love of Hashem, to judge Him in favor, to see His intimate relationship with me and to know that He's doing everything for my best, to see Him in a good light, to know that He gave us Torah and mitzvahs to fly. Right? We gave that analogy last week. Does the bird see the two wings as something that's weighing them down, or do they use it to fly? Then it's not an extra piece of weight on my back. It's to fly with. That's what I have to see the mitzvahs. The 613 mitzvahs are 613 pipelines to receive Shefa Eloki, to receive the godliness and goodness that Hashem is. I don't know how to put it in human terms that we understand it. It's, they say, more than the how does they say it? More than the cow, the calf wants to eat, the cow wants to give the milk to its baby, right? Hashem so to speak, waiting, yearning, again, humanly turns because we don't have anything else, to give us the shefa. What am I doing when I'm not doing mitzvahs b'simcha? I'm clogging the pipeline. That is what's bringing light to every single one of my organs and sinews. 613 lights of godliness to give me life force, to be able to get up and move, to be able to get up and be happy with my life. I'm clogging that pipeline if I'm not doing it b'simcha. Hashem says, you're not doing it b'simcha, that means you don't love me. I don't need it. I don't need it. I'm setting down the light. You don't want to get it? You don't want to receive it? Don't come to me later and say to me, why am I getting nega? I'm sending you oneg. I'm sending you to light. You switch the words around. You're looking at it as it being a burden. I'm telling you they're not burdens. Mitzvahs aren't burdens. Mitzvahs are great. They're wings. They're going to help you fly. They're going to help you go and overcome that which you didn't even realize you can overcome. But you switched it around to nega. You're the one that sees it as yisurim. There's no yisurim in this world. Absolutely none. Absolutely none. It's because you're not tapping into the godliness of the message that I'm trying to send you. So a wake-up call could be annoying. My parents annoying me. They're waking me up to get up. If you're seeing as davening as an annoyance, then of course the shaliach is going to be an annoyance. But if you see it as I'm davening, but I'm gaining something out of it, then the wake-up call is a blessing. Thank you for reminding me to get up. And that's how we have to view life.
Well, there's some situations where it's not so
clear cut.
Like let's say Laura Lena was a sick child. You could say, okay, there's a message in this for me. Hashem is talking to me. I need this as a tikkun, but I am so sad that there's a sick child.
Thank you.
Or a child of the derech who's not doing the Ratzon of Hashem. You can't separate your emotions.
Again, what is not Ratzon Hashem? That child has a place to go to with where he is right now in his loneliness. He needs to be in that lowly state right now. That's where he's going to have to find Hashem. He's going to have to find Hashem from that lowly state. Do I want it? No, of course not. But if it wasn't Ratzon Hashem to some degree, and again, it's a very complex issue, then it wouldn't happen. It wouldn't happen. But what do we say?
Actually, we could say it's l'tovah. Yes, we could say it's l'tovah.
It's l'tovah if I do something l'to'elet for it. If I use it.
For that person, there's two things going on here. It's for that person's tovah also.
Right.
And there's a
Why do
lesson
you
there
say
for
it's
me.
tovah?
But
It's saying we can't understand, we can do this, but your kid who can be eating treif and doing drugs and off the derech or who knows what, how do you say, oh, this is l'tovah? You could say, okay, I understand this is part of his journey. This is part of what he needs to go through in order to come back to Hashem. But you can't say those things are tovah.
I didn't say that those things are l'tovah, but if eventually it's going to serve him in a higher purpose, we don't know. But that's where Emuna comes. Kiviti lecha, kiviti lishuatcha Hashem, kiviti lishuatcha Hashem. We never stop hoping. We never ever stop hoping.
So we shouldn't be feeling bad about
10.
those things.
10.
If we're feeling bad, it shows that we're not going to win.
We don't feel bad about.
We shouldn't be feeling bad that he's over there. Shouldn't feel sad about it.
I'm feeling sad because I know that it's
What do you mean?
causing
It's
tsar.
absurd.
It's causing tsar to Hashem. Hashem, I'm so sorry
Why does
that.
it only cause tsar to Hashem if you, especially as a Baal Tshuva, if you know the emptiness of that life and you have a kid living that life
But
or two,
that child
But-
thinks he's having a great
I
time.
understand that, but if you know, so it's not about the child. She just said, what did you just say?
To the
just
child,
said that
he's not feeling. In fact, he'll come and he'll convince you 20 times. I'm happy.
But we're not talking about the kid now, we're talking about us. We're talking about if you have a kid off the derech, or
Right.
if somebody has a child who's, God forbid,
God
has a
forbid.
machala or this
Right.
or that or something, you can't say that is good.
It's not good in terms of the definition of what I see, and that's why my job is not to understand, and I am supposed to do all that I can to alleviate that pain from that child, of course, 100%. But somehow, and this is the only way to express it, somehow, some way, this is somehow a good ending going to come from this. Again, now it's difficult for me to comprehend and to take in, but somehow, some way, there's a bigger picture out there, and this is serving a greater good.
But how do we know that it's always for the good?
It has to always be for the good. Listen, Hashem is bringing us towards the ultimate good. That's all Hashem is bringing every single one of us. Whether we're cooperating with Him and participating with Him or not, it's always bringing us to a better good, because that's the divine plan. The divine plan is Yemot Mashiach. Let's remember that. Where is all this taking us? To the ultimate redemption. So everything leading up to it has to be ultimately for the good. You understand what I'm saying? Even if there's a bumpy road that I have to travel through to get to my final destination, I'm going to my final destination of good. But now it's bumpy for me. But there's no other road to take right now, per se. You understand? They didn't pay the pavement yet. So it's got to be bumpy for me right now. But ultimately, we are all traveling there, whether we like it or not.
So like Ruth saying, when she saw Esau behaving this way, for her it was very depressing. But now, generations later, we can say there's a purpose in Esau being this, because now all the Bnei Esau are the source of anti-Semitism, and it helps us to have Achdut and to reach out to Hashem. But for her personally, it was a
People have lost
So we're saying she knows that she served a part of the divine plan. That's again, something I did not mention. It says, how did we receive the Torah? We were b'tahdit hahar. We were at the bottom of the mountain. There's a midrash that teaches us, what does har mean? Why were we given? Why weren't we giving why was it given to us on a mountain? Because har is from the root word. The word hirhurim is from the root word har. Hirhurim means contemplative thought. Means the stirring of the heart, the stirring of the mind. Tahdit hahar means that we had to be in a place where we had no preconcepts. We were our brain was free from any pre-thoughts. In other words, we were in a place of full reception. We didn't come with any preconceived ideas of what should be, what shouldn't be, what could be, the way Hashem should have done, what He could have done. We were in full receptive gear. And that's where we have to be in life. To receive the Torah, you have to be in a place of emptiness. I know nothing. Hashem, what I think I know is a lie. What I don't think I know is probably true. What do they say? Whoever knows doesn't really know. Whoever doesn't know really knows. That's the truth. It's to understand, I know not. How can I even? What chutzpah? I say this to myself all the time. You want to try to understand the divine? Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? Made from dust and dirt. Who do you think you are? I'm supposed to understand the divine plan. Even if I think I understand it, I don't understand it at all. Hashem did me a favor by giving me a little insight. So what? I understand nothing. And if we don't have that place of lowliness inside of us, we're never going to be able to accept the Torah. We'll never be able to accept the Torah. We'll never be able to live a life of Emuna. If we don't have a sense of humility, of humbleness, of knowing that I know nothing, then that's the number one thing I have to work on then maybe.
I have to just ask you, because with true Emuna, one has no free will, okay? I mean, I do see Hashem, I think, generally, and all, but somehow when you said, well, you don't have any free will, it touched a nerve in me and like, okay, what about me? I mean, like,
right.
Who I am, like, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, let me ask you, if you saw right now that right here there's burning a fire, would you dare put your hand in it?
Of course not.
That's what I mean. If you saw, when I say living a life of Emuna means that I undoubtedly, without a doubt, not even unequivocal, like no doubt at all, I know Hashem's here. Then what prayer do I have to do His will? You understand? Will I dare take a drink without a bracha? No, because I know He's here, and I know that this is His will, and I know that if I don't do it, I'm hurting myself, and I'm hurting, God forbid, Hashem.
That's true.
That's what I meant.
That's true. I don't know if I need to work on this, to understand.
So maybe you have to turn it, but that's what I meant. That was the kavanah. The kavanah that means that I have no prayer. It means I won't sin.
No, I wouldn't think of not taking a drink without a bracha.
Right. Right.
You lost your bechira.
Right. You lost your prayer. You understand what I'm just saying?
Oh, okay.
You understand? It's not. It wasn't something you mentally chose. You know that's just what you have to do.
That way,
I'm thinking of free will is like, okay, this is well, I just say, who us are a special neshama.
Right.
So, like,